Hey folks, and welcome back. Star Goblin Radio here. We are in the final countdown for the pre-orders for Phantasy Star TTRPG. Today being the last day that you can get your orders in to get your core book, both physical and PDF form, as well as the free adventure, The Search for Lavino. During the last few days in this final stretch, Skydawn Games has released some images from the book and some full pages as well. And we'll dive in and take a look at these and figure out how they tie into the video games. We've got page 25 from Chapter 2, Creating Characters. This page includes an image of the four main protagonists from the original Phantasy Star games: Elise from Phantasy Star 1, Rolf from Phantasy Star 2, Reese from Phantasy Star 3, and Chaz from Phantasy Star 4. This page provides advice on running a Session 0, which is the first session before the game starts, where the storyteller and the players work together to determine what kind of game they're going to be playing. This time can be used to establish variant rules or house rules, determine how the player characters might already know each other before the first session starts, establishes themes and expectations, and how to ensure that the game is fun for everybody and nobody feels uncomfortable or disrespected throughout the process. Next, we have a creature called a Buma. We've seen one of these before, depicted in some action art. Bumas are from Phantasy Star Online. They're clawed, jungle-dwelling creatures. This page explains that there are two variant Bumas, the Go Buma and the Gigo Buma. I assume that means there will be three versions of this creature, with three different stat blocks for them, with the third one being the standard Buma. We'll have to wait and see for the full stat blocks. Speaking of stat blocks, we now have the first monster stat block, Rappy. We've got two versions, the Rappy and the Blue Rappy, which is a variant. Rappies were first introduced in Phantasy Star 4, though they appear to be based off of the Chirper from Phantasy Star 3, so they go back even further than that. And since then, they've appeared in most of the newer Phantasy Star games, Phantasy Star Online, Phantasy Star Zero, and so forth. The Rappy is a small, low challenge rating creature. It attacks with its claws and tends to be most effective using its pack tactics, which allows it to have advantage whenever its allies are also adjacent to the creature it's attacking. And their standout feature appears to be the play dead reaction. When a Rappy is dropped to 0 hit point, instead of dying, it gains 1 hit point, appears to be dead, and can lay low and plan to attack again. The Blue Rappy is very similar, though it has a higher challenge rating due to increased stats, defense, hit points. Its abilities are pretty much the same as the standard Rappy, though it has a multi-attack, allowing it to attack 2 times on its turn, and those attacks are going to deal more damage than the standard Rappy. Next, we have a picture of the Canadine from Phantasy Star Online. These are machine enemies that can float above the battlefield, requiring a ranged weapon to attack them, though they'll also fly down and attack at ground level. This next image I shared once before, but I'll bring it up one more time just because I incorrectly identified the enemy between these two characters. I had identified this creature as a Sinnoh Beat, but it's actually a Del Saber from Phantasy Star Online. I also said that this character on the top left was probably Bernie, though others have disagreed with me due to the color palette, saying these two protagonists are probably just generic player characters from Phantasy Star Online. If you have any other thoughts, let us know in the comments. Here we've got our first glimpse at the Galactic lore section of the new core book. This shows us the timeline around the very first original Phantasy Star, starting at AW 341, which is the year before the first game starts, giving us some information on what leads up to this first game taking place, and then AW 342, which tells us the events of the first game and how they unfold. Included is an image of Lassic, the corrupted leader and ruler of the Algol system, and one of the primary antagonists of the original game. Next, we have an image showing various weapons that are available for the player characters. This is probably part of the equipment chapter. We did see a couple of these in an image that was shared during the Twitch stream. That image also includes vehicles and other monsters from the games. though this depicts more weapons than were originally spoiled. Also, from this Twitch stream image, we were provided a closer-up version of this Pioneer ship. The Pioneer ships are part of the story from Phantasy Star Online. I did some digging and couldn't determine if this was Pioneer 1 or Pioneer 2, or just a Pioneer ship and not a specific one from the story. If you know more details about this, Phantasy Star Online is not my specialty, so I'd love to hear more. Let me know in the comments. And for our final image, we have this from Phantasy Star 3, showing Arachio and Laia. These two characters are significant to the history in that game. They both lived on a ship called the Elisa 3, and were leaders of their people. Unknown to them both, Dark Force had snuck on board, and was corrupting them and the other leaders on board the ship, resulting in hostility that led to the Laia-Arachio War. During this war, Laia's people created bio-monsters to form their army, while Arachio's people created cyborgs to form theirs, and it was a pretty bloody encounter until the leaders realized they were being used as pawns by Dark Force. They put aside their differences, joined forces, and managed to trap Dark Force for about 1,000 years until the third game starts. And that's everything for this episode. Not sure what we're going to get in terms of updates between now and the release of the core book, but if we do get news, I'll be sure to post it here. And once I have the core book in hand, I'm hoping to do a review of it, maybe do some videos about how to play and talking about the rules, as well as my own thoughts as a storyteller and a experienced player, how to best utilize some of the settings or character options. So, that's it. That's the show, and until next time, we're almost there.